Hey everybody, it is the Honey Badger, and today we're going to be installing a new head unit into the GX470. The one we're going to be taking out is a non-navigation unit. So if you have a nav unit in your vehicle, this head unit we're going to be installing today does not work for your vehicle, but I will leave you a link in the description to the one that you need that most people have been installing. I'll get you a few links down there. You'll need a different install video. But if you have a non-navigation unit, which we'll take a peek at in 1 second, this video is for you. We're gonna go over everything. We're gonna install cameras as well that go with this unit so we can have forward-facing camera and backup camera as well. So we're gonna go over those details as well. But first, let's look at the unit in this vehicle and just go over the details and the basics. This is the stock unit of the vehicle. This is the non-nav unit. Like I said, if you have the navigation unit, a link in the description to what you need there. It is a bigger screen, but it replaces everything in the center because it's all all tied together. On this vehicle, if you have just the 6-disc changer with this normal unit, this just comes out and is directly replaced, and we'll have a 9-inch screen unit up here. We'll go unbox that in just 1 second, but there is a link to our replacement unit that we'll be putting in this vehicle as well in the description. Make sure you check that out if you're interested in picking up the same unit, as well as the cameras that are going to be going in with this unit. That we'll send one up to the front of the vehicle and one to the back, so we have a backup camera, because obviously right now we definitely do not. But let's go take a look at what comes in the box and all of the items that we have today that we'll be installing. All right, here are our two packages, just lightly open. So the first one, the smaller one, this is a kit you buy separately from the same company. I'll leave you links, like I said. This is the rear view camera and the front facing camera. So we'll get to these later on when we're getting to that point to install the cameras that are gonna be added to the vehicle. Other than that, this is the unit itself. It comes with all of your harnesses and your looms. It comes with your microphone, because obviously once you have the Bluetooth connected, you'll be able to make calls and talk through your car and do all of that. We have some 4G antennas. We have some USB extenders. We do have a little bit of a diagram as well as a little bit of a manual, which we may be referring to in this video as well. And then we have the head unit as well, but I need 2 hands maybe to get it out. And then here is the head unit itself. Obviously, it's a big old touch screen that we're getting. We have a few buttons on the side as well as an audio knob. And yeah, that's the unit. So that's what's gonna replace the current one. Should look a little bit nicer, look a little bit more modern. But not too crazy. So let's go ahead and start getting the old system out so we can put the new one in.
First thing I recommend doing is ejecting your CDs out of the head unit, because getting those out later on probably going to be kind of difficult if you have some in there. Okay, so to start things off, what we're going to do is we just need to get this thing out. We need to remove the 2 trim pieces that run down here along the sides, so then we can remove these side pieces to get access to take this out. So first, with a little pry tool, let's pop these off, get access down here first. Okay, and that's out. And another one to unclip. All right, those are out. Fun fact, that comes out super easy, so that's a thing. Didn't even mean to pull that out. All right, the whole head unit's out because we removed those 10mm bolts on the side. So you can kind of see a little bit better now. There are 4 10mm bolts on those 4 corners, and that pulls the whole head unit out. All right, well, we took the top part off, but I'm just realizing just take the whole thing out. It's just a couple more connectors, so we'll just take a couple more connectors out, and then we'll disconnect this and probably get the new screen put in as one unit. Then we can install the whole head unit back into the vehicle. Let's pause for a quick second. So I actually was trying to do this without removing the whole unit at first, and that was a million times harder. So definitely take the unit out. Now, I don't actually have footage of me installing the unit with the top piece and the lower part for the controls for the heating and AC, but it's not too difficult to put all together. We'll go over just one little bit of it on some clips that are hard to get out to remove a little bit of that, but go ahead and take this whole thing apart essentially. It's not that difficult to put back together. You have the 2 metal brackets on both sides that help hold everything in place. I use those to get everything then snugged up, and we'll go over that in just a second in the video, but you won't actually need any screws holding in the new replacement head unit because it's going to be held in by tension because of the bracket and the parts that are above and below it. But anyways, back to the video. Okay, so I actually did take the controls for the air conditioner and heater out. Here's those clips. They're way easier to see this way, but we need to push these clip parts down so we can slide it off so we can get this part back because we need that for the install. So it's right here. It's these little clips. These are very hard to get to, so you want to take your whole head unit out like this so you can remove this. Just makes it a million times easier to get to these clips because they're a little bit stubborn. All right, so we got the head unit put back in to like the metal side pieces, which connects the heater and AC controls, and we got the top back in. Now, we're actually going to skip, now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to actually skip putting these on at all, because these are the 4G antennas and the other GPS antenna. These, I believe, should only be for if you're going to use this on it, which is actually a SIM card slot. You open that and put a SIM card in. I'm not going to run a SIM card for the unit itself. If you wanted to do that, then I would install all those parts. But this is just going to hang out in here. We're not going to actually use it. We'll just be doing it through our phone. Our phone will be connected, and that will be running all of those components. So don't need to worry about that for this unit, or else they'd plug into these two, and then one over here on the side. So don't have to worry about that, which is good. That's a little bit more simplicity, a little bit less that we have to run in the vehicle. We're going to get these plugged into the vehicle in just a second. That way we only have to really plug that back in. But next what we're going to do is get our cameras and our antennas ran, or our microphone, I should say. Our microphone and our cameras put into place and run our cables, so then we can get them all plugged into the back of the unit. That way we can get this back in the vehicle and get everything start to plug in, but let's get those ran where we need so we can get them set up. Okay, so for the microphone installation, they say to put it up on the visor. We're going to put it on the side here because when we flip down, it's enough cord and slack that this is fine, and we don't have a bunch of cord like hanging. So all we did was we just popped this off, and then we just pulled this back. We'll just run the cable here, and then we're just going to run it down the side rail, and then we get to underneath here, we're just going to run up and under the dash and up into the middle. So we'll do that in just a second, but I'd say put this right here on this edge. You can move it too. It slides, it clips. So we can move that there, and then you can always twist and point the microphone wherever you need to. So we're going to put it right there. So we ran that cable, like I said, and we just ran it down between here. We pulled this out and just tucked it behind, and then we put that back in. The cable's right here. You can see it for, well, you can't see it, but it is right here. If I pull on it, here it is right here. It's really dark, but there it is. It'll be up and out of the way. There's one screw that holds this little plate in. Take the screw out, knock the plate down. You can run it above the wires to the gas fill open and the trunk, and that way it'll stay up out of the way. Then we'll put this back up in just a second, and that cable won't ever get in our way and drop down. And then you do have to just fish it. You can shove your hand down through there and reach through here, and you can string it up through there. So microphone is installed. Let's move on to probably the cameras next. All right, so we just stuck the camera in place. Its orientation should be this way. There's a flat little square part on the top, and it comes with a good piece of like clear double-sided 3M tape. So that's stuck onto there right now. You can adjust the camera up and down, so we'll get this kind of moved and situated how we wanted. And then this just plugs in, so we'll get our other cable kind of ran through the dash, up through the pillar, and then we'll come in and we'll plug in, we'll get this all connected. So let's start doing that now that we have our front camera in the location we want it in. Okay, update on the front camera install. Like I said, camera's here. We ran the wire up and attached it and got it underneath this. Then we're just actually running, it's just tucked across here along the top, and it stays there all right. And then you can see right here, there's just a little bit of cable peeking out as it dives in between here, runs across. And then we just have the trim pulled back here, and it's running through here, down, 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 and then you can see the trim, or the seals just hanging. And then we ran it right here. Just pop your glove box off. It's just on one wire, and then it pushed in the middle part and it pulls out. And then I'm just running it through here at the moment, just so we get our hand. So we got our hand on it through here from here. So we just tucked it in there, grabbed it through here. Now we'll run it through the rest of the dash. But the main part of where we need to route it is out of the way, and we'll get that now into the center. and the front camera cable will be in place. Okay, so here is the cables for the front camera. We got it up and through. It's actually just up above the glove box. 3 screws along the top. This also then just literally pops off. And then pull that down. You won't remove the whole thing because it's still attached at the bottom, but you have enough room then that you can then grab that cable and just run it up across the top of the glove box and up through here. So let's leave this here. Now, since that's where we need it and we just need to really get it all plugged in, now let's work on the rear camera and get that routed through the car, and then we should be able to bring everything back in, get it all plugged in, and hopefully be more or less finished with this project. Okay, we're at the rear of the vehicle. We're gonna start doing the rear camera install. We're gonna run the camera cable through where the lighting is for the lights that shine on the license plate. So it's gonna be kind of mounted there. It's gonna run through one of those spots, but we need to get access to the tailgate. So we removed all of the plastic. It all just is clipped in. There's only one screw you need to remove, and that's this one. I'll show you it on the actual plastic piece in just a second. And then our handle that's here, you need to pull the handle out. It's on clips as well, but that's the only screw. It actually is this one right here. So you'll pop off this little plastic piece on this, and then this is the only screw that's really kind of holding this plastic in place besides all of those pressure clips. So that's all you need. We're gonna now get access to this and kind of mock that up, and I'll show you where we're gonna run the cable. Okay, we're at the back of the vehicle. We have popped out the light. This is where we're gonna run our cable up. And then we're gonna put it right here on this plastic piece, and it comes with this piece of double-sided foam sticky that's gonna attach the camera up there first, and then it comes with 2 self-tapping plastic screws that we can also screw into this plastic if we want it more secure than just the double-sided sticky padded tape. So we'll get it at least mocked into place. We'll run the cable up through there, and then we'll go into the interior and run that cable. But this is the one you want to pop out, and then we'll run that cable up through there in just a second. All right, camera got stuck in place. We just push the cables up through here. That's them. We'll get these connected, and we'll run it through here. Then we'll guide it through here, and then we'll just chase it where it goes for the most part. All right, let's show you what we did. We got this taped up out of the way. We got it plugged into the other cable and then taped up and out of the way. These are not wired in yet. We'll come back and do this in just a second. So this will go to our reverse lights, which that's actually one of them right here. So real close, right in the neck of the woods. Then we ran our cable back here. We did cut a little slit in this, so this wasn't tight on this cable. And when it, cut it or sever it over time on the metal. And then we just did a loop, because this is actually tied in really well. And we ran it through here. We'll do the same thing. We'll probably cut just a small groove so this cable doesn't have too much tension on it, so it doesn't get cut. So that's the case there. Then we pulled back this panel. Again, everything is pulls back. And then we just slid the cable through here. We grabbed it. And now what we'll do is we'll run the cable through here, on the back side of this. And then as we get to the passenger door in the back, we'll tuck it in, we'll run it around like the edge underneath the little sill by the door, and then we'll run it up through the front, and then we'll get it up into the center. So we got plenty of cable to do that. That's what we're gonna do now, but everything is where we want it here. We'll come back, like I said, and we'll get that buttoned up, and then we'll get this all, put back together. But at least we got our cable. Honestly, the hardest part done, because getting the cable through there, up, and then through that little hole, and then grabbed through that little cubby. That's the hardest part I've probably done, honestly, so far, just because it's a little bit tight. We only got really one way we can go. But other than that, not too bad. Just took a second, but be patient, and you'll get the cable through there. And now we'll wire it up to the front of the vehicle. All right, we ran the wire up to the front of the vehicle. Here's what we did. We came along the seam, and we're just right behind this panel. And we came across, and then as it gets to here, we have the wire just behind this. We pulled this out. The wire runs just down this. And then as it gets to here, we pulled this plastic piece out, and then it just runs in the channel that's down here. Under that piece, we didn't even pull it out. We just tucked it. Then we went to the front piece, same thing. This just popped out easy. Cable just runs up, and then it runs underneath here. And then here it is right now, actually, just hanging out the glove box. We just reached in, pulled it up. And this is what we did with the last front camera wire. We just pulled the front part down. Now we'll just run this back behind here and then up to the dash. And that's where our rear camera is gonna feed from. So not too bad, just takes a second. Pop those panels out, run that wire. Pretty simple, just takes a second, so be patient.
All right, one last time to the back of the vehicle. We're gonna leave it unbuttoned before we get everything, set up, make sure everything's working correctly. But we just wired in our pink and our black wire. The black one with a little pink line on it, but the black one, majority one, should be going to the white on the vehicle. And then on the other one, it's kind of red or pink blue. That one's gonna be the all pink cable, which should be your positive. So that should be fine. We're just gonna leave this in case we need to do anything, but we'll button this all up after we know everything's ran and is working correctly. Rear camera. All right, bear with me. I had to jump to my phone to finish recording the video because I killed my cameras. But we are so close, and we're just gonna button things up. So the only things we had to do was up here at the top when I was putting it in, there was actually a big gap and I couldn't figure it out. Well, it wasn't, these clips weren't getting all the way in, and it's because the screws that were on the side, this metal part that were connected to this, the screws don't line up enough, and then it pushes it too far out, at least on my unit. So I took the screws out. As long as you have this bracket, the metal bracket that runs down the side, it connects to the bottom and the top, and you put the screws back in it, the unit will then clip into the bottom, and I'm gonna be honest, it ain't going anywhere, and you're usually not gonna rip on it anyways too much. The only thing about fitment I would say is there's a little bit of a gap at the bottom, but at least it's uniform, so I'm not too worried about that. Other than that, it's in the vehicle. We just got it screwed back down. Now we're gonna turn things on. I did turn on a second ago just to make sure things are fine, but let's go ahead and just twist things over. And there it goes. It connects quick. It can tell you whether or not it wants to do the USB or the Bluetooth. You can just click Android Auto and select the function and just get started that way. You can go home. I don't know what music it's playing. That's not my music. But we'll turn that down so we don't have any problems. Let me get the door so it shuts up for a second. But here's everything. You're in. You have Android Auto. You can use the navigation. You can go to music. You can even go and select apps. It booted instantaneously when I first turned it on, and I had a pair, and that's all I had to do. So once you're paired, you can just kind of get going. It's pretty responsive. You can adjust some brightness. You can go into your settings and tweak anything over there. Home button. I mean, it's pretty snappy. I'm actually, so far, I haven't used it much, but let's learn a little bit more about this thing. So it's actually been a couple of weeks now, and I have definitely learned quite a bit more. Now, one thing I want to take note of, before I put my side pieces back on, I did actually for a split second pull it back out and decided to run the two USB extenders that are on the back right hand side, and I ran them up over the glove box. If we open our glove box, I then actually slipped them down through this spot here, and that way we can actually plug in media and pass through our unit and actually control media. So let's talk about that for a split second. So with that availability, we can go to our settings and go to File Manager. We can pull up our USB and we can actually play footage or video off our USB drive. Now, you need to be in park to be able to do that. With the e-brake up, you can actually override that setting if you want. If you go to Common and you turn the parking brake off, then it'll allow it to play. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing to take note of is when you are learning the setup, one of the things you need it to learn are your steering wheel controls. And to do that, you actually go down on the screen and you go to Key Settings. Within Key Settings, you want SWC, Key Learning. When you do that, it pulls up a screen. Oh, did it just clear it on me? That's kind of funny if it did. So this is the screen to learn the keys for your steering wheel. So for instance, if we want volume up, we press it and then press volume up on your steering wheel, and then it learned it. So we'll do volume down to learn, volume down. Press the button. We'll do the previous track as the down button on the arrow on the key or on the steering wheel. We'll do next, we'll do that as the up. And then for the mode button on our steering wheel,
I'm gonna actually make that one, you could do power, you could do source, you could tell it to do nav. I'm gonna actually just have it be the home button, so it goes to the home screen of this. Then hit save, and then everything's saved. You can have this obviously set up however you want, and you could make your buttons do different things if you wanted them to. So a lot of good options here, but make sure you set this up or else your steering wheel buttons will not work at first. Now, outside of that, the unit's been good so far. I'm gonna go in and make a dedicated video for it here real soon. And I'm gonna actually just kind of do a review of the actual system and everything like that. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a future video. I'll maybe go over more settings and things of that nature and other things that this actually does, because there are other things you can do in here as well, especially with settings. Sound, I've set it to dark mode. There's a bunch of different things you can do. So overall, that's pretty much it. The install took a little while to do, just be patient like I said in the video, but it's been well worth it. I'm gonna be honest, this will probably be the best modification that the GX actually sees. This is an enormous upgrade over the stock unit. So if you could leave a like on this video if you found it helpful, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on other future videos, that would be great. Other than that, I'll just see all of you guys in the next video.